The New York Knicks season kicks off on Wednesday, and we have everything you need to know in this jam-packed episode. So strap in.
Let's run that intro.
They're playing basketball.
Basketball.
You're listening to the Knicks Nation podcast, where we've got all your Knicks needs covered.
Puts up a three. Bang! Bang! He ties the game!
Now, live from the city that never sleeps, here are your hosts, Anthony and Chris.
The New York Knicks season kicks off on Wednesday. We're finally here after a long summer league, long preseason, it seemed like. I'm here joined by my podcast co-host, Chris, as always. Chris, what's going on, brother?
I am chilling, man. Like you mentioned, the New York Knicks season kicks off officially this Wednesday against the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is going to be a good game, right? A good game. I'm expecting it to be a good game. Hopefully the Knicks do well. But yeah, excited, man. New season. Can't wait to talk about what our expectations are for this upcoming season for the New York Knicks. How you feeling, Ant?
Feeling really good. Look, obviously there's a lot to talk about tonight. We'll get into it all. We'll touch on it all. The New York Knicks made their final roster cuts on Saturday. Matt Ryan gone. Landry Shamet has made the team. Matthews gone. Alex Len gone. So they're at 14 players right now, and I feel like they're going to stick to 14 players until maybe someone else pops up during the season. But Landry Shamet, Chris, recently made the team. We still have to do a Landry Shamet preview, but in the final preseason game, we saw a lot of good things from Shamet. We saw a lot of good things from Diawara. We saw Jalen Brunson look like Jalen Brunson. How about that?
Finally.
Captain's back, man.
Yeah, that's after I said, hey, I wasn't thinking he was, he was getting to his spots, wasn't hitting his shots, but man, that last, like I mentioned, I figured he's gonna find a way. Of course, he's our captain, and man, he just put me at ease that last preseason game. Man, he was just scoring in the ways that you want to see Jalen Brunson score. So
Yeah,
that was nice to see.
it was nice to see him, man. I mean, some of the moves he was making reminded me of the playoffs. And look, no Karl Anthony Towns in that final preseason game, or OG Anunoby, or Mitchell Robinson. And it seems like those guys are going to be hopefully good to go on Wednesday. I hope. That's your little injury update. Mitch is dealing with some foot soreness, they call it. OG Anunoby has some lower leg injury, right, for OG Anunoby?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Cat has a quad injury for Karl Anthony Towns. So not what you want to hear going into the Wednesday matchup versus the Cavs. But I feel like those guys, look, it's preseason. Josh Hart as well just started to do some basketball activities. So hopefully we get him on Wednesday or Friday. Look, it's a marathon, not a sprint, Chris, but we want to see these guys out there on Wednesday to face off against, look, the Eastern Conference top two teams. You got the Cavs and the Knicks out the gate facing off one another. The overreactions are going to come from that game. And look, it's game 1 out of 82. I mean, can't really look too much into that. But either way, I'm excited, Chris. Let's go.
Yeah. And you know the overreactions are going to be crazy, regardless. 82 game season, it's not going to matter. Depending on how game 1 plays out, we're going to have some crazy takes. And look, people are pegging the Knicks and the Cavs to be the top 2 teams to come out of the East. So, there's going to be a lot of talk after that game. But yeah, I mean, some of these guys are banged up, like you mentioned, Mitchell Robinson, Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart. Hopefully a lot of it is just, maintenance, trying to keep them, from overexerting themselves through the preseason. And maybe it's just, hey, they've been running around a lot, because we all know Mike Brown's trying to push the pace with this New York Knicks team. So hopefully they're all good, with the exception of Josh Hart, obviously, who's dealing with a little bit more of a major type of issue. But hopefully they're ready to go Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't know about Josh. Josh is the one that gets me kind of concerned, because he just really hasn't been doing much on the court. So but either way, it should be a great game. So Giants fans, Jets fans, Jets 0-7 stink, Giants terrible loss. You got that. Look, the New York Knicks might win a game before the Jets. this they
That's
will win a game before the Jets win a game this season.
that's insane.
Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
And look,
Yeah.
the Giants. Look, yeah, that's. I'm not a Jet fan. Yeah, you're not a Jet fan, right?
I'm not a Jets
No.
fan, but I don't hate them either. I'll put it
Yeah.
that way. I'm a Giants fan, so
Yeah.
I can't say nothing either.
I know. Tough. But we got the New York Knicks. All right, guys. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, make sure you follow us on the audio side as well. Doing live streams every single week. And obviously trying to grow the Knicks Nation brand as well. So appreciate you guys for doing that. All right, Chris. Here we go. Standing at the crossroads. Is this the year for the New York Knicks to win an NBA championship? No more excuses, right? No more, we'll get them next season, right? If not now, Chris, when? Look, the East is wide open. Gone are the days where our only goal is just the playoffs. Don't you think? Do you think the days are gone where our only goal is just the playoff, Chris?
Yeah, I gotta say,
Yeah.
I think that time has passed, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been plenty of years where we weren't even close to making the playoffs, but that has changed now. That has changed with this team we have right now, this core: Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, obviously the captain Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. You got those guys. You're not just trying to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You're trying to win the championship. That's literally what this team was built to do. And I think this is the year to do it. Obviously, there's plenty of injuries around the league, which kind of unfortunate. I want to beat teams at their best, right? But look, you got to play who's in front of you. And obviously, there's a lot of injuries. Tyrese Halliburton obviously out for the Pacers this year.
Yeah.
You got Jason Tatum, who's out but making some amazing progress and might even play this year, which is insane.
Insane.
But look, there's a lot of heavy hitters out there that went down and are going to be out this season, and the Knicks got a chance to capitalize on that.
I think even if those guys were available, I still think the Knicks have one of the best teams in the East, and it's just now is the year where it's not, if not now, then when. I mean, I know that's like a kind of like a saying where if not now, then when. It's like a cop-out saying, but I'm just saying, like, this is the year where the New York Knicks, they have the team, they have the depth, hopefully. That's if you think Clarkson or Yabusele is and Shaman off that bench, or Diawara maybe, hey now.
Yeah.
Or, Hukporty coming in off the bench. He's going to expand the rotation, Mike Brown. So, look, at the end of the season, we will still be saying enjoy these moments, look how far we've come. Or will that kind of nostalgia feel too little, Chris? Because too little, too late. Because for too long, the New York Knicks have been about the journey, not the destination. But this feels different, man. Look, last season they finished 51-31, top 10 in offense and defense. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2000, Chris. Obviously, we all know Game 1 was a disaster for this franchise and the fans. Tyrese Halliburton just, I don't even want to think about it. So, yes, this could be the year. But what separates teams who ultimately collapse under pressure from those who rise? And I think the New York Knicks addressed some concerns coming into this season. Look, depth was a major talking point last in bench points last season, Chris. And I guess we could start there. That this roster that the New York Knicks front office has built, Leon Rose has built, is they came into the summer with one goal on their mind: improve this bench. And we saw some really good things from Jordan Clarkson in the preseason. Not so much from Yabusele, Chris. I feel like he's really trying to find his footing within this offense. We saw last game, he finally hits a three. He puts his hands up in the air like, thank you, God. Like, geez, I finally hit a three. So, and we all noticed that he's not really a good center playing at the 5 position. But you're going to see Jordan Clarkson with Jalen Brunson. Look, the starting lineup is legit, right? You got Jalen Brunson, Mitchell Robinson is going to start when healthy. They're going to manage the crap out of Mitchell Robinson this season, so expect a lot of area hook Porter. You got Cat, obviously. And look, offensively, I feel like there was a stat that Stefan Bonny brought up, Chris, the other day. I mean, you were telling me before the pod. So I'll let you read off of it, and then I'll respond to it. Maybe like last in pace or something like that.
Stefan Bondy, I'll quote him to the T. He says, preseason, but after Mike Brown pushed playing fast as his most important pillar, the Knicks are 31st in pace in the preseason, ahead of only one NBA team and behind two teams from Australia.
That to me is so lazy, because the New York Knicks starting five pretty much didn't really play the entire preseason. Yes, you can say OJ Anunoby, he missed one game in Abu Dhabi. Then Mitchell Robinson didn't play the last two games, and they've been out in and out the lineups, and you have these new pieces off the bench coming in. I don't even, like, I saw that and I'm like, look, Bondy really loves Tom Thibodeau, and he really harps on the fact that the New York Knicks let him go, and he's always asking. I respect the hell out of Stefan Bondy, so if he's watching, he's probably not, but I'm just saying he always is asking about Tom Thibodeau, and look, the Knicks are going to deal with some scrutiny. So at the end of the preseason, you come up with that stat. I don't really like. Do you care about? I mean, it's preseason. It's 5 games in the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, it's preseason. It's a small sample size, and I don't think any head coach is out there rushing like to show their cards. Like, oh, this is what we're gonna do in the regular season or whatever.
Yeah,
like, no, it's the time to experiment, and it's clear the Knicks played with a faster pace, especially when the regular starters were out there, right? The guys that you know are going to be starting for the most part.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of experimentation with the young guys that were trying to make the roster, and obviously they're trying to learn this on the fly. So I don't see why. I just don't see that translating.
Yeah, that got me upset when I saw that. I'm like, really, like, whatever. So look, the East is. You're going to have your pain in the ass teams. Detroit, Orlando. I mean, I saw a projection that Orlando was projected to have more wins than the New York Knicks. It's going to be a bumpy ride, right, Chris? But, that the cream of the top is the Cleveland Cavaliers. You're already seeing Darius Garland saying today that, if we were fully healthy, we probably would have made it all the way to the NBA Finals. The what-if game, right? I mean, what if, right? But I'm not afraid of Cleveland. Until otherwise, look, they have a hell of a team. Lonzo Ball is a hell of an addition for them.
Yeah, that is. That's a good pickup.
Yeah, I mean, the highlights I saw this preseason with Lonzo Ball. I mean, jeez, they're going to be a really good team, Cleveland. But until they get it done in the playoffs, me personally, I'm not afraid of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Chris. I mean, we beat them a couple of years ago in the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell seems like he can't get past the second round. Jalen Brunson seems like he owns Donovan Mitchell. I am not afraid. Again, Cleveland has a good team. We have to see it on the court, play it out, 82 of these things, right? But so I guess we could start off, Chris, by saying what's the ceiling for the New York Knicks? I mean, is it Eastern Conference Finals? Is it NBA Finals? What are you expecting from this team? What would you be disappointed from this team? And we can just go from there.
I think it's NBA Finals, man. That's the ceiling right there.
Yeah.
With everything I said prior, the injuries and the players that are going to be out, like you mentioned the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm not concerned because, like you mentioned, they haven't proved it. They haven't gotten out of their own way, basically. They keep hitting that same wall over and over. And it's like, I think I'm more concerned about a team like the Detroit Pistons, who took us to the brink almost,
Okay. Yeah.
That was a team that's up and coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'll worry about them more than I worry about Cleveland. And look, that's not saying that Cleveland's going to be a bad team or I'm looking past them, but I'm only going by what they've shown us so far. But I think the ceiling is NBA Finals for this New York Knicks team.
I do too. Look, it's easy for us to say this on October 19th. A lot of things have to go well for this team. This Knicks team surprised us last year when they beat Boston. And, they were coming into last year's playoffs winless against the Cavs and the Celtics during the season. And we were staring at the Celtics and we're like, And who knows? But a lot of Knicks fans were predicting us to win, and we did. So what we know is this team turns it up a notch in the playoffs, right? What we know is Jalen Brunson turns it up a notch. Now we know Karl Anthony Towns turns it up a notch. Defensively, we'll see regarding that. OG Anunoby has had some moments. Josh Hart has had some moments for this team. Mitchell Robinson. So the experience is there. It's not like we're coming into the season saying, oh, it's first year with this group, second year with this group. We'll see. Let's see them gain experience. No, it's like we said, if not now, when? I mean, you got Mitch on an expiring deal. There's a lot of moving parts in the NBA. I feel like you have to take advantage of this upcoming season with the New York Knicks. The window is open, right? Look, the window is open. I know we have to play the games, but the window is open. So, look, ended the drought with the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and it seems like every year they've improved. Chris, Now you're coming into the season with a new coach. So the heat is kind of turned on a little bit more because this coach is already talking about, dealing with the pressure, and he's built for it. And you're already seeing media members, Bondi. Now I feel like I'm getting at Bondi a lot this podcast, but it is what it is. But they're going to scrutinize like every little detail Mike Brown does throughout the season. Look, the second the New York Knicks have a 3-4 game losing streak this season, it's going to be all hell's breaking loose. Like, what's wrong with this team? The sky's falling. You should have never fired Tom Thibodeau, this or that. I mean, you're going to hear all of it, so be prepared for it, Knicks fans. But, look, I feel like they can build off of last year's success, and I hope to God that the taste, like the bad taste that the Pacers left in their mouth, right? I mean, that was bad, man. Bad. Game 1, I didn't sleep. Like, that was bad. We were on our way to the NBA Finals last year if we win that game.
That loss was insane.
Yeah, so
I hate to think about it. But that was crazy.
Yeah, so the rotation will expand. So another question, Chris. What aspects of last season's success can they carry over to this season? So what needs to change? What needs to stay? And you can add your little wrinkle into it too. Like, what do you want to see change with this unit? Defense, rotation. What do you got?
I mean, what has to change? I feel like has already, we're seeing that it's going to change, which is obviously leaning on the bench a little bit more, not running your starters into the ground per se, playing them long minutes. I think we're going to get that, obviously, under Mike Brown and the new fast-paced system, and obviously playing a bigger rotation of guys. So that's something I want to see change, and obviously we're most likely going to get that. Stay the same, I'd have to say just resiliency. This Knicks team over the past couple of years, they've been resilient, never really gotten into like really bad losing streaks. There's been times where, maybe they'll lose 1 or 2 games in a row, but this team usually always bounce back and strings together a few more wins. I want to see that continue, that type of resiliency where if we get a bad loss, we come right back and we just, start a new streak or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think if this Knicks team goes on a bad losing streak, that's especially when you're going to start hearing the rumblings from the media saying, oh, this is what happens when you fire, a great head coach and Tom Thibodeau and you make this change and blah, blah, blah. That's definitely going to come. But that's 2 things where I say, I would like a change and the resiliency staying the same with this team. But it's hard to say, man, because once you change a couple of pieces on a team, you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and that's the intriguing part of watching this season transpire, and it starts on Wednesday. Appreciate you guys in the chat. I see all of you in the chat. Mike, what's going on? El Figgy, Eddie, what's going on? Appreciate every single one of you. Chris, Joel says go Knicks. NYC says Knicks 2026 champions. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. Make sure you smash that like button as always, and subscribe to the channel. Joel says heartbroken for my New York Giants.
Damn.
Oh, man. Rick, what's going on? Appreciate you in the chat. Isaiah, what's going on? Appreciate you in the chat. Isaiah's in the chat. What's going on, Isaiah? Hope all is well. He says, yo, what's good, guys? Just arrived, about to be done from work. Hey, settle down, strap in. Chris and I are talking about this season. So, look, I wrote down a few. How do the New York Knicks break through, right? Expand the rotation. So give more minutes to role players. And those role players could be Huck Porty. Those role players could be Shamit. A lot of us wanted Shamit more. DeLon Wright last year in the playoffs, and we just didn't get it because stubborn Thibs. So stay healthy, right? This Knicks team has, for the most part, except Mitchell Robinson, been fairly healthy for the last couple of seasons. So just stay healthy. Look, core's in place. You got Iron Man Mikal Bridges. And managed big moments. They got this far, but, can they win the defense when defense needs to lock in, or like if they're trailing in a series, Chris, like in the NBA playoffs, like can they defensively get to a point where they're one of the best defenses in the NBA? And all eyes are going to be on Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. Second year with that duo, Chris. Big moments last year, but defensively let's be honest, is a concern. And in a big spot, questions are going to be like, can the Knicks thrive with this unit with two guys being probably, I wouldn't say I'm not going to say one of the worst defensive players in the league, but Cat, we saw it versus the Pacers. They were cooking him. Jalen Brunson's team defense, drawing charges, he competes on that end, Chris. He's not that, he competes. Even versus the Hornets game, we saw him competing a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's going to be can those two players lock in when the stakes are high defensively? Offensively, we know they can, but depending on who you ask, defense wins championships. You got Kevin Durant saying offense wins championships. So depending on who you ask. So we'll see, man. But the key is expanding rotation, Chris. We saw, I truly do think Mohamed Diawara is going to be in the rotation. Not now. Not now. Give it a month. Give it a month. I think Diawara has leapfrogged Pacom Daddier. And I feel like what we saw versus the Hornets, Mike Brown said he's earned it. And we do need another long 6'9" wing off the bench. I think Diawara can be that guy. Obviously, we're missing Josh Hart, but I feel like in a pinch, you're good to see Diawara out there. I mean, that's what we're going to be watching. How deep does Mike Brown go? Pause. But that's what we're going to be watching.
That would be crazy if Diawara just leapfrogs Daddy. I mean, look, when you show it on the floor, that trumps everything, right? And Daddy has shown a couple, some flashes here and there, but that game versus the Hornets that Diawara just basically laid out there for Mike Brown to see. Mm-hmm. Look, that's what you got to do. You got to show your coach what you can do out there, and he definitely delivered that game. So that'd be crazy though if he gets in the rotation, actually gets some minutes early on. I mean, I know you said like a month from now. I still think that's early, but that'd be something, man. I mean, do we really want to see Diawara out there playing that early? I mean, what would that say for
why not?
I mean, wouldn't that mean things have kind of gone a little off the rails a bit?
No, not necessarily. I would rather not necessarily because I don't think he's going to be in the main rotation. I feel like Huck Porty will play a lot because Mitchell Robinson is going to be managed the hell out of. They want to keep Mitchell Robinson fresh for the entirety of the season, and as long as he gets to the playoffs. So Huck Porty's going to play a lot. Sham is going to play a lot. Clarkson's going to play a lot. Yabusele is going to play a lot. Hart is going to play a lot, and then that's already 5, right, off the bench. So that's 10. So, but I do honestly feel like this is not like Tom Thibodeau, Chris. It's not like, okay, we're not Diawara, Daddier, call it, we're never seeing them. I feel like
that's true.
On a back-to-back night where they've had a long road trip or they've had a long stretch. You're going to see Diawara and you're going to see him play. And what gets me excited is his last look. It's against the Hornets, last preseason game. Look, Hornets are gonna stink, but it's the skills that it's the motor. Like you can't teach that stuff. And I do feel like we've seen more out of him than Daddier, and we really haven't seen anything from Daddier. And look, yes, last year he got the crap he had in the stick, not really playing with Coach Tom Thibodeau, but didn't play at all last game. So, and Diawara started, and Brown said he earned it. So, it's the depth. I feel like that will take into consideration come. I know in the playoff, like in a playoff series, maybe you're not going to see him play unless he improves his game. That's why you got 82 of these things, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you never know. You never know what can happen throughout a season, but look, I'm rooting for Diawara. Obviously, look, he's a Knick, and if he takes a leap, right off the bat, that'd be amazing. That'd be a good problem to have, basically. But circling back to what you were mentioning, Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson defensively.
Yeah,
it's funny because I feel like when you look at Jalen Brunson, you kind of like, all right, he's giving his all out there, like he's really trying hard.
mm-hmm.
So you almost kind of forgive it. But then you'll see like Towns getting out of the way of someone or just not really putting in that effort. And you're like, come on, Towns, man, you could do better than that. So it's funny. I mean, they both equally, struggle on that side. But I feel like with Brunson, it looks a lot like you're kind of at peace with it versus Towns, where it's kind of like, come on, Towns, you got to put your hands up or something. But hopefully, I hope Cat makes some strides. I mean, look, he's been in the league for a while now. I don't know how much more, defensively, if he can't improve on the Tom Thibodeau, I don't know what we're going to get this season, but hopefully at least get your hands up, Cat.
Yeah, at least get your hands up. Look, I'm optimistic. So once again, appreciate you guys in the chat. As always, thank you for your support. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Chris and I are talking about the Knicks season outlook. Knicks Cavs on Wednesday. That's when the real games start. And Chris and I are excited as hell as all of you are excited as hell to watch this team get to work. And we'll see regarding who's healthy and who's not. But a fully healthy Knicks team is top 5 team in the NBA, in my opinion. And, we're right up there with the best of them. And it's just how they improve the little things. Like turnovers, Chris, like, remember last year in the playoffs, turnovers were a huge problem. It seemed like they weren't disciplined. They were starting out slow. Like I want to see little things like that. Like, do the Knicks go down by 10, 20 points again, or is that out the window? Like too many tendencies like that last year where we just got comfortable with, and we just got complacent of like being down 20 out the gate. Okay, comeback kings. Here we go again.
Yeah, it's funny because it was almost like, all right, we're down 20. We got them right where we want them. Here we come.
Yep.
And look, to their credit, they came back in a lot of those games, but that's just not sustainable. You cannot sustain that type of play. But hopefully the fast pace, makes quick work of that slow starting nature that the New York Knicks had last season.
Yeah. Let's see. Hit some of your comments. Why don't we, Chris? L. Figgy says the fact that Coach Brown gave Diawara a shot from what he saw in practice is a good sign. We're out of Thibs' stubborn lack of rotation. Rick says, what's going on, L. Figgy? Yeah, agree. Rick says you can see the guys Brown gravitate towards: Deuce, Mo, Mitch, high praise. Yup, and I mean, different voice, and I like it. Is he better than Thibs? We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be difficult, getting back to where Thibs got to, but that's not, fair to Mike Brown to kind of compare him to Thibs. I wanted Thibs gone, as most of you in the chat, and I think Chris, you were kind of done with that too. But another thing, Chris, I know we're talking about it. Can we stop about Thibs? Like I know we get caught up about like, oh, Thibs this, Thibs that, but Like I
It's
feel like
gonna
the media too. They ask him about
yeah,
things. Like
it's gonna be difficult because look, like I mentioned, as soon as this Knicks team struggles or hits some type of
yeah, you know
adversity,
it's coming.
it's coming.
Yeah,
It's gonna be look, this is what you get when you let go of a head coach who got you to where you got last season. Blah blah. It's gonna come. It's gonna
yeah,
come.
yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be a difficult conversation to put to bed.
Dorkosaurus, what's going on? Says Clarkson worries me. Turnover king. We'll get to that in a second. El Figi says players that need to have a breakout season: Porty, Kolek, Clarkson. Look, big season coming up for Kolek now that you know. I can't believe he retired. Chris Brogdon
Yeah,
retired. Can't believe that. So I do think they need another guard. I do think they need another guard to handle
I
the
do
ball.
too. Just
You know,
like that veteran presence as well. Which look, we
yeah,
thought we were getting that with Malcolm Brogdon. Fortunately, he retired like out of the blue, but I would have loved to see them pick up another like veteran point guard type of player, even if it was like a Russell Westbrook. Why not kick the tires on that again? But it
yeah. You
sucks.
have Spencer Dinwiddie that got waived by Charlotte. No,
No, no, I don't. No, no, no.
he can hit a bucket.
He can go
He's
back
a
to
bucket
Brooklyn.
getter,
He
but
can go back to Brooklyn.
he is a bucket getter. But he's kind of same tendencies with Clarkson, but he is that bucket getter that can handle a rock. So Dorkosaurus brings up Clarkson, Chris. So preseason bench review, and with the two shining new toys off the bench, Chris Clarkson and Yabusele. Yabusele, look, wasn't that good, right? I mean, you like
Yeah.
what C minus? It looks like he's lost. To be honest with you, it looks like he's lost out there. Clarkson started off the game last game, what 4-4, 2-3-3, something like that, and
Yeah.
then started to become cold, and then it's just yeah. So give me your thoughts on Clarkson and Yabusele, and I'll feed off of that.
Yabu is definitely trying to find his way.
Yeah,
Like it's no clue, no secret. He's trying to basically just learn this new system. I mean, he's definitely struggled, man. Like you mentioned,
yeah.
I give him like a C minus if I had to give him a grade. But yeah, I mean, as far as Clarkson, I think we're getting exactly what we signed up for when it comes to Clarkson.
Yeah,
He
that's true.
just look, he can keep you in games, he can win you games, but he can also shoot you out of games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think as far as Clarkson goes, we're getting exactly what we signed up for. And you're going to get games like this where he's turning the ball over left and right.
Clarkson, you said it perfectly. I feel like we're going to get exactly what we signed up for. Scoring, inefficient, but at times he's going to get you a bucket when you need it, like desperately. He's going to get you a bucket. And let's be fair, they really haven't played with, the full bench unit, and, the rotations have been funky this preseason. Haven't really played with Hart. Hart played one game, got hurt, and then didn't see him. So let's be fair to them where they look. It's like Mike Brown said, it's a marathon and not a sprint, right? So I feel like at times you're going to see a bumpy road. You're going to see, the New York Knicks, when it comes to the bench unit, you're going to see them struggle at times. But I feel like ultimately, hopefully during the season, they can be more consistent and, gain their stride, because that's all we want to see is like baby steps until where they become really good. But I do see concerns with people, Chris, that say, look, Clarkson and Yabusele, James Edward III, he writes for, I think he writes for The Athletic. He has concerns with the Knicks bench unit. He said, look, it's an upgrade, but how much of an upgrade is it? These guys can score, but he has concerns that there'll be anything's an upgrade over last season. So we just have to wait and see, regarding that. So Chris, you there? You good?
Yeah, keep freezing here.
Oh,
man.
you keep freezing? We good?
Think I'm good. I think I'm
All
good.
right. All right. Next time you freeze, just hop out and hop back in, and I'll get you in here. But appreciate you guys in the chat once again. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Dis Rover is in the chat. Dorkosaurus says Diawara should play the 5 before Yabu. Yabu and Clarkson ain't known defenders. Dorkosaurus does not like the new additions. El Figgy says, I miss Dante. I'm still not over him. Yeah, look, we haven't talked about Shamit. Look, that's why I really wanted Matthews to stick with this team, Chris, because of his just outside shooting.
Yeah.
And you always crave for shooting. But, you know, Shamit is that Swiss Army knife off the bench in which didn't really, like, he hurt his shoulder last year. We really didn't really see him till the end. And, you know, I don't know. I feel like, you know, Shamit can be a good piece for us off the bench. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he showed it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like that's when I feel like he turned the corner, and you saw the defense, you saw the effort, the gritty plays, and most importantly, the threes. Right, he was hitting his 3-point shots. Like I think he's gonna be good. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you know when you get someone like a Malcolm Brogdon out there, that's more intriguing. You know, that's sounds better. Should have been better if you really think about it, but you know. Now Shamit kind of looks like a consolation prize in a sense because that's what you're left with, right? But look, he did a lot of good things, and I think he's going to continue to do that. You know, obviously he had the injury last season, which kind of derailed him a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So now coming into this season, healthy, gets a full, you know, like camp under him. I think he's going to be good for this team.
I do too. And look, he's a part of that bench group. And look, We'll see how they mesh. I think it's going to take some time, Knicks fan. It's going to take some time for that bench to gel and to mesh. And you know the starters, I feel like we know what we're gonna get out of them, and it's gonna be fun watching a full season of Mitchell Robinson start next to Karl Anthony Towns and that chemistry. And it's gonna be fun, you know, watching the Knicks get up 40 to 53s a game. Last game was a positive step in the right direction in terms of 3-point percentage because they were getting up a lot of threes, but they weren't converting high percentage on those threes. So look, we're gonna, you know, hopefully on Wednesday these guys are going to be a full go and fully healthy, and let's go, Chris. Look, I really, my only concern this season is I just hope that when we get to April and May, the defense is where it needs to be. I just hope and pray that when we get to April or May, Karl Anthony Towns is not struggling again defensively. He's not getting cooked. He's not running down the court. I just hope that Mike Brown, defensive head coach, was the defensive guy in Golden State. His coaching staff can find a system, go zone, which Tom Thibodeau never did. I just hope that when we get to the later part of the months, the crunch time, that's my only concern with this team, Chris, is defense. You know, I think offense will come here and there. I think they'll figure it out. But defensively, I feel like, I don't know, man. And that's what I question, you know, because you look at the elites. OKC, great defensively.
Yeah.
Cavs, you can even say is really good defensively.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's my concern.
That's a good concern to have. I feel you on that because last season, look, that was the question, right? We went all the way into the playoffs and we didn't know what this Knicks team was going to bring defensively because it was just all over the place.
Yeah.
So I think definitely, I think this Knicks team needs to, you know, they got to find their defensive identity, right? They got to figure that out, and it can't be, you know, a week before the playoffs start. So I'm with you on that one. That's definitely, it's a concern because look, we obviously have firepower now, and we got guys like, you know, Jordan Clarkson off the bench, but guys that are not really known for their defense, right? So it's going to be a team defensive unit. They're going to have to get it done as a team defensively, but I think we got some pretty smart defenders out there that can cover up some of the weaknesses other players may have on that side. And a hell of a coach that, like you mentioned, known as a defensive, you know, mastermind. Mm-hmm. So he should be able to figure it out. Granted, we said similar things about Tom Thibodeau. And it took until the playoffs for us to see some
Yeah.
of those changes. But look, hopefully with Mike Brown, it's sooner rather than later on in the season.
Yeah. So that's an area where obviously we're going to be watching, and look in the playoffs. That's why Shaman and DeLon Wright were plus additions, because defensively they were not. They were holding their own, and Mitchell Robinson was dominant, and I do think starting Mitchell Robinson will improve the defense, tremendously, and I do think it'll improve OG defense, Mikal Bridges' point of attack defense. Mikal Bridges last year ran through the most screens in the entire NBA last year, and the New York Knicks are going to ask a lot from Mikal Bridges, and that brings me to my X factors, Chris. All right, X factors for the New York Knicks. Give me one, and then I'll give you one. Give me one other than Cat and Jalen Brunson. Give me one Nick who you feel,
I feel like I say.
Go ahead.
I feel like I say it almost every season, but I say Deuce McBride, man.
Okay.
I feel Deuce McBride in this system playing faster. He's kind of got. Look, from what I gathered in the preseason, he kind of has a bit of a green light, man, to go out there and just create his own shot and get his shot
last
off.
game was good. Yeah.
So I say Deuce McBride, man. I see him thriving in this new fast-paced offense.
Deuce last year was really good. In the playoffs was really good for Deuce McBride, inconsistent during the season. But those of you in the chat, let me know your X factors as well. Coach, what's going on in the chat? So appreciate you guys in the chat once again. Smash the like button. Let's get those likes up, ladies and gentlemen. Knicks basketball is on Wednesday, guys. Let's go.
Right
Come
around
on,
the
chat.
corner.
We back. Let's get hype. Let's get hype in the chat. Deuce is, a lot of fans love him. A lot of fans don't. Chris, he's like a sneaky polarizing player, which a lot of fans are over him, which I don't get. But
I don't get that.
I feel like he does have a green light. And yes, I'm going to be intrigued watching him in this system. And he's one of the Knicks' best defenders on the bench. So if you want to throw him in a trade machine, you're only trading him to maybe get another defensive player in here and package him with somebody else to get more defense in here. But we'll see. Maybe consolidate a little bit, because if you think that bench is too many guys, too many cooks in the kitchen off that bench. El Figi says Deuce needs to get more comfortable driving to the paint. Yeah. But Coach here says Mitch is in a contract year. Mitchell Robinson, I feel like, will have a big season, Chris. I feel like he will expand off of his great playoff run for the Knicks. Hopefully, it seems like he fixed his little free throw issue. Hopefully, he said he moved over to the left or the right, one of the sides where he was aiming the free throws, and hopefully he can get to 60%. Please,
that would be huge.
But my X factor is none other than Mikal Bridges. I feel like the New York Knicks can get to where they want to get to if Mikal Bridges plays like an all-star this year. If Mikal Bridges plays like an all-star this year and is hitting his above-the-break threes, which he wasn't doing in the last game versus the Hornets, by the way. He missed a few of them. If he's getting, his shot, seems like he fixed a little hitch in his shot. Defensively, seems like he's more engaged with this new coach, right? Seems like he's active. He's active in the huddles. I feel like if we get an even better version of Mikal Bridges than we did last year, maybe close to an all-star, I feel like this New York Knicks team takes a massive step. And yes, massive steps from the Eastern Conference Finals is what. But I feel like Mikal Bridges is defensively, I feel like he has improved. He's being more engaged. We saw some good defensive plays in the preseason, but Mikal Bridges, Chris, hit your corner threes, the above the break threes. I would like to see more consistently hit, and we know mid range, he's an assassin, so they're gonna use him a lot, and Mike Brown seems to love him.
Yeah.
So that's my X factor this season. I think the Knicks, they'll go as far as the play from Mikal and even OG Anunoby from that standpoint. So
yeah,
It's a big
Look,
season for him.
Mikal would have been the second one for me as well because I
Yeah.
think again, I think this system and playing much faster is going to benefit him. Him
Yeah.
and Deuce, I think they're going to benefit humongously from it. And we've seen it. We've seen it already in the preseason with Mikal. Obviously, still has to work on his threes a bit, but all in all, I wouldn't be surprised if we get an all-star type season from Mikal Bridges.
Let's go. Let's go, man.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that, man.
Let's go. Look, we haven't talked about OG, and it seems like he kind of gets lost in the sauce here, but let me get to OG and Anobi in a second. So Dorcas says Knicks lost the transition points battle by 70 points in the Pacers series. Yeah, look, playing fast, and you're bringing in guys now that can handle the rock, and you're bringing in a bench that Yabusele is really good in the transition. So we'll see, and we saw some good things for the New York Knicks transition wise. Defensively, we need to see that improve too. But El Figgy says Huck Porty can be the X factor. With Mitch starting, he can be a key player off the bench. That's how Isaiah Hartenstein leveled up. So yeah, we're getting a lot of different, Huck Porty X factor. Chris says Deuce. I say Mikal. Just Rover says OG and Anobi will be fine. Yeah, of course OG will be fine. But I'm saying he just kind of gets lost in we just OG, he's fine. He just plays some defense, hit some threes, and just go from there. But look, if the New York Knicks two wings, Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby, play elite at the top of their game, with a Mitchell Robinson in the paint, kind of anchoring things, that's where you can see the upside with this Knicks defense, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you can see the upside with this Knicks defense. OG Anunoby has kind of been disrespected over these last couple of years. I know the injuries have taken a toll, but it seems like we want to get him to he can get to an all defensive first team, and I think Mike Brown has challenged him to get there. So let's go, man. Let's go. I'm so ready.
I'm ready for Wednesday, man. I want to see what it looks like because look, preseason is one thing, but getting a full game, your starters out there, seeing how this offense is really gonna flow, and more importantly, the defense, right? Seeing what the defense looks like because we're gonna get tested by the Cavs right away.
Yep.
Game 1. Can't wait, man. Can't wait.
Look, no more excuses. No more excuses is a powerful line, Chris, but pressure comes from the outside. You're going to have the naysayers always doubting the New York Knicks. Who cares? But look, the expectations are higher than ever. Look, people expect this New York Knicks team to reach the NBA Finals, and we do, and most of you guys do too. So,
yeah,
at the end of the season, will we celebrate how far they've come, or will we ask ourselves, what if? Last year, we were like, enjoy this moment. The last couple of years, enjoy this moment. Look how far we've come as a fan base. We've sucked. Now we're consistently good in the playoffs. City's rocking. So will we continue to, obviously we're in the moment, we're going to be like, wow, things are awesome. But at the end of the day, when the expectations are finals, Chris, expectations are higher than ever. What you got?
I think you still got to enjoy the journey. Yeah. Obviously, you got to enjoy the journey. But look, it's no secret that the goal is the championship. For all the reasons we've mentioned multiple times, players being out, the way the landscape looks at the moment. But look, it's still going to depend on a lot, right? Obviously, health, obviously good play, good defense, the offense. It all has to come together, right? That's how you win. I feel like there's a bit of luck involved in winning an NBA title, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, you can't deny the Knicks are, out of the East, probably top 3, if you want to say, top 3 teams that should come out of the East.
Yep.
So, look, I think it's realistic to say that the Knicks, this is make or break type of season, Because I really do think, and you mentioned this, Ant, before, if the Knicks don't make it back, at least to where they were, or get to the finals, this could be, the end of it, where they decide to go a different route and
Yeah,
maybe entertain, a certain somebody over in Milwaukee coming over.
it's
So,
true. It's
I think
true.
that pressure is real.
It's the elephant. It's not even an elephant in the room anymore, Chris. Like I like before, I didn't really want to talk about it, but look, it depends. What's the measure of failure? It depends. Like a first round exit would be a tragedy for this
Yeah,
franchise.
that's a disaster at this point.
Is another conference finals appearance and no further? Is that a failure to you? What's a failure for this New York Knicks team this year? Have we reached the Yankee status where if it's not championship or bust, is it a failure? I don't think we're there yet. I don't.
I don't think per se we're there, but you got to get back to where you were last season at a minimum, in my opinion. That's what I'm looking for. Obviously, my expectations are much higher. I'm still looking, for that championship, but
Yeah.
we have to at least make it back. Eastern Conference.
Yeah. And look, we're down the line, but it's good to talk about these things and we'll see. But yeah, if this core doesn't take us there, and I think they will, I do.
Yeah.
If they don't take us there, then it was said that the New York Knicks made an offer for Giannis. Whoever was in that offer, we'll see. It's if you trust Shams. Do you think he's BSing? Giannis seems like, if you listen to him, it seems like they're signing his other brother. They're signing his sons to
They're
just to
trying to
keep
keep
him.
him happy, man.
They're trying to keep
They're
him
trying to
happy.
keep
So
him happy.
that's telling me that that's real. That's real. And you have that hovering over you. So look, we'll see if that transpires, and that goes back to if this team defensively can make it, because there are concerns in the NBA regarding this Knicks team defensively. But I'm ready to shut everyone up, Chris. I'm ready to make the NBA finals and let's go. Look, someplace we haven't been in 26 years, and last year was amazing. Cloud nine. But again, the Indiana Pacers eliminated you. But now the competition is kind of shrunken a little bit. I feel like this year it's pressure packed, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready to dive in during the season. I'm ready. I feel like this Knicks team will get there. But if they don't, you know what you got in Milwaukee. And I tell you this right now. Man, if the New York Knicks fall short, they got to do it. They got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if
They gotta
it's
do it.
out there and it's actually attainable,
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard not to, right? It's
yeah,
hard not to. But with that said, I think this Knicks team has plenty
yeah,
enough to go out there and get the job done. I think, look, I think this is the season. I think this is a season where we gotta aim big. This team, obviously Leon Rose, the front office, they had a plan, a 4 or 5 year plan, and we're seeing, we've seen all the trades, we've seen people come, we see people go. Dante, everybody's heartbroken over Dante being gone.
yeah,
I'm one of them. I still wish he was still on the squad, but look, it was a necessary trade to get to where we're at now, where Julius Randle no longer on the Knicks team, but we got Karl Anthony Towns, a lot more dynamic scoring team. So
Not
now's the
afraid
time
to
to
make
just
changes.
now's the time to just put, put in the work and make it happen.
Yeah,
Like you mentioned, no excuses. So look, this is the year. I feel good about this year,
yeah. So
and
do
I'm
I.
sure the Knicks are going to do great. But yeah, look, it's going to boil down to health, in my
Yep,
opinion.
yep. Big Mitch leading that charge. Question is from appreciate you guys in the chat. The question that comes to mind: who will be the most consistent player to lead the bench? I'm gonna go Josh off the bench, Chris. I feel like we know what we're gonna get out of him. He's gonna have big nights for us probably will have triple doubles off the bench. So I'm gonna go Josh. I think he's gonna be the most consistent Nick off the New York Knicks bench, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's the safest bet. Like El Figgy says, Josh Hart plays like they're holding his family hostage every night.
Yep.
I'm not worried about him. That's to the team, man. You know he's gonna leave it all out on the floor. I mean, I guess if I had to pick somebody else, I'd have to go Deuce. I'd have to go Deuce. You know, Deuce is another solid guy off the bench, and we know what we can expect from him defensively and obviously offensively as well.
Let's go. Dis Rover says Bucks will want Cat, OG, and Mikal for Giannis. Giannis and Brunson not a title contender. Look,
I don't know about that. I mean, look, obviously, it depends on who you have to give up.
Yeah, we could take Kuzma and give, we can make things work.
Yeah, but I think, look, if Giannis is out there saying I only want to go to the Knicks, I feel like that gives the Knicks some leverage, and we're not talking about the Carmelo Anthony deal where you have to give up the entire team, basically, in my opinion. But yeah.
El Figgy says something I do not agree with. Giannis is past his prime. I'm not willing to mortgage the team for years to come for him. Look, all I'm gonna say is we've gotten like too much in the weeds in the Giannis talk, but
yeah,
it's depends on this season, guys. I mean, after this year, let's say the New York Knicks lose in the second round to the Detroit Pistons, which we're not predicting. You're gonna have that door is gonna be knocking, man. You're already seeing Stephon Bondi already putting some flames to that fire a little bit, saying, "Look, Giannis wants to be a Knick." So it's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen during the season, obviously. But if this Knicks team disappoints in the playoffs and defensively is a concern, you're gonna have people like, where do you go from there at that point, right? Do you go for another fish? It's like, you're already in the first apron. Where do you go from there if this doesn't work? So which we're not predicting, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Giannis is like 30. Cat's like 29. JB 29. I don't think he's past his prime per se, but
he's still.
But yeah, look, that's obviously down the road. I'm not really worried about that at this moment. I'm focused on the next season.
Focus on Wednesday, baby.
Look, yeah, but it's hard not to think ahead of what ifs, could happen. But yeah, look, that's if things don't go right this season, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting that to be the case.
We have to talk about it, guys. We don't want to talk about it, but I mean, we have to. When a top 3 player in the NBA wants the Knicks, and the New York Knicks were set to make an offer, we're going to talk about that. But we're focused on Wednesday and focused on this season because, look, let's do it, man. This is the year, guys. This is the year. Preaching it to existence. Positive affirmations, Chris. This is the year. Let's go. Prediction.
Championship.
Final prediction, Chris. And those of you in the chat, give us your predictions right now for this New York Knicks team. Finals, Eastern Conference Finals, disappointed, mid-season major trade for this club. Give us your predictions. But Chris, the floor is yours. Predictions for the 2025-2026 New York Knickerbockers. What we got?
I think I tipped my hat already, but NBA Finals.
Yeah.
New York Knicks are making the NBA Finals, and obviously I'm going to root for them to win it. So,
against who?
I'll say, gotta say somebody like the Nuggets, right? Nuggets, I could see making it. I'll go Nuggets. I'll go the Denver Nuggets.
You go Knicks Nuggets.
I'll go Knicks Nuggets.
Knicks Nuggets. Sarah wrote a story for the Knicks Nation website, and she had asked me my prediction for this team, and I said the New York Knicks will make the NBA Finals this year, and they will unfortunately lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder because the Thunder are just. I think the Thunder, I have them repeating.
I didn't want to put them back in there.
They're just so good, and
yeah, they are.
But I do feel like this team will reach the NBA Finals, and who knows, man? I mean, the city will be rocking. I mean, maybe the Thunder coming to MSG, shaking, nervous, and they don't know what the hell they're walking into. And look, we'll see. But I do have this franchise going back to the NBA Finals for the first time that they haven't been in 26 years, and it's been a while, man. It's been a while, and I they're on the right trajectory though. They're on the right path. Put it all together. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction. I know I want to look. It's a prediction, right? Yeah. Don't read too much into it. I want to have the Knicks winning the finals, but I mean, got to be realistic as well. So let's go.
We're seeing a lot of Timberwolves, man.
Yeah,
Knicks
let's
Timberwolves.
go.
That would be amazing.
We almost got that last year. Knicks
Yeah.
Timberwolves.
Almost. That would have
Right?
been something.
Seen
I'll
a
take
lot of-
Knicks Timberwolves at any point in the playoffs, basically. That would have been look.
El Figgy says finals versus Timberwolves will be epic, but it'll probably be OKC. Jabroni, what's going on, Jabroni? Knicks will win 57 games and get to the finals and beat the Nuggets in 6.
I feel like we match up good against the Nuggets for whatever reason.
We always beat them, right? Seems like always.
It's probably
Knicks-
why I chose them.
60 wins. Knicks
Man.
will have 64 wins. I believe the Vegas. Look that up really, Chris. What's the Knicks Vegas win total for the season? And then I think it's 51 and a half. This Rover says the New York Knicks will have 80 wins. What, really?
That would be crazy.
80-2, both losses to Chicago.
The Knicks are currently set for 52.5.
52 and a
Or
half.
53.5, depending on which book.
Yeah, I'm taking the over. Look, what did we win last year? 51 games with a shitty bench. And look, I know the starters played a lot, and Thibodeau relied on the starters, but we won 51 games last year with a crappy bench, and now you improved the bench. I'm taking the over on that. And then look, we stayed healthy last year. I'm saying this Knicks team will win 54, 55 games, and be up there with the Cavs. But the one seed is important.
I agree.
Home court advantage throughout the postseason is important, right? Something you want to aim for.
Yeah. I think, look, it's going to be a battle, I guess, between the Knicks and the Cavs and
Yeah.
maybe a team like the Hawks or even Orlando, right?
Yeah, look. One of those pain in the ass teams are going to get on the Knicks' nerves, and we'll see. But, guys, it starts Wednesday. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the Knicks Nation podcast. Appreciate every single one of you in the chat. Appreciate your predictions. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Knicks Nation on Apple, Spotify. Hit the Discord. It is pinned up right now in the chat. Live post-game calls are going to start on Wednesday again. Live streaming is look, the season is coming. Already gave away 2 Knicks Nation hats in the Discord. Hit up the Knicks Nation on Twitter, on Instagram at Knicks Nation. It's that simple. And let's get it. Let's go, man. Like I'm super ready. I'm so ready for this season to start, Chris. And I've said that like 10 times already this podcast, but I really am. Look, it's a big season for this club and its franchise, and we'll see, how it all shakes out. But I truly do think this is going to be a year that hopefully will tell our kids, our grandkids that, look, the 2025-2026 Knicks were special, and they overcame adversity and overcame a lot and finally hosted up that trophy for the first time since 1973.
Damn.
Let's go. That was a lot.
Let's go.
That was a lot.
I'm hyped. Let's go. I
Let's
can't
go.
wait.
Can't wait for the season to start. All right. So once again, appreciate you guys tuning in to the Knicks Nation live stream. Yeah, Chris, anything else you wanted to touch on before we head up on out of here? Get ready for Wednesday.
Get ready for the parade. It's coming.
Get ready for the parade. The New York Knicks season started, and I know, Chris, you got the orange iPhone, but I had to get the orange iPhone for the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly why I got the orange iPhone. Knicks
But
orange.
You got the blue case on it too, like me?
No, I got black. Orange and black. Orange and
We'll
black.
call it City Edition right there.
Oh man, like those jerseys, by the way.
Yeah, I got to get the white one.
You
I
ordered the
got to
black
get.
one, right?
I did, but I
Yeah.
didn't see the white one. If I would have seen, I would. I'm gonna get them both. I'm gonna get them both. I got it.
So, all right, we're gonna end. We're gonna like obviously this is the end of the pod, but let me just put this in the chat. This was the League City Edition jersey that Chris is talking about. It was it's not a white. It's kind of like a cream.
Like a cream color.
Yeah, kind of like a cream.
I like
At least from the image that it kind of gives me like a nostalgic look that brings me back to like the 90s where that's what it looks like, right? I was hoping for a blue one, Chris, like a road one, but
Yeah.
just love the font, love the New York, love the just clean the blue stitching around. I'm definitely copping this one. I think it's one of their best city jerseys. I know the blue one last couple of seasons ago was underrated a bit, but yeah, this one is I give this one a 10 out of 10. I know many people think it's plain, Chris, but nostalgic.
Nah, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
nostalgic. All right, guys, subscribe, like, hit the good stuff. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation.
I'm Chris.
We'll catch you guys next time. Let's go Knicks! Big year.
Let's go.
Peace.